What's up, guys? Boy, Chris C-Walkz Walker. Today I'm gonna do this another one of these silly questions or activities. And today I'm going to ask myself questions about myself to get to know myself better. There's a lot of questions, but I'm not going to do all these questions. In case you want to know how many questions there are 154 questions I can ask myself, and I will answer as honestly as possible to get to know myself better, and y'all going to be here to watch it, so let's do it. Alright. It actually says a big list of questions, so here we go. If you had an unlimited supply of anything, what would it be? What would you do with it? Well, let me tell you something. If I had an endless supply, I would say groceries. I kid you not. I will rather have an endless supply of groceries. Because if I do, I will be saving about 45% of my earnings for the rest of my life. Because, let me tell you something. Groceries are expensive, and it takes a portion out of anybody's check. I don't care who you are. It just takes... If I ain't got to worry about food, and it's already there, I have an endless supply for the rest of my life with groceries, I will be golden for the rest of my life. Because I will eat and not have to worry about money coming out of my pocket just for groceries. So, yeah. Number 2. What's something you could talk about for hours but never get to since no one has ever asked? Something that I can talk about for hours and no one would ever ask. I'd probably say this is tough because I talk a lot. Probably my childhood. Not a lot of people ask me about my childhood. Probably could talk hours about it, about my childhood, about my life story. I could talk hours about it, my highs and my lows, but no one has ever asked because either they don't want to hear it, they have things they want to cover before, talking about my childhood or my life. So, I can go days talking about how many things I had to overcome to get to where I'm at today. So, I would say my life, because no one asked about it. Number 3. What is something you are really good at without having formal training or much practice? Well, goes with question number 2. So, interesting fact story. So I grew up in Luzon, and I was about 6 years old, just fresh. It was like during the summer of kindergarten / first grade, and I had these friends that lived in the same street as me. I'm not going to name their names, but they were twins. I had twin girls that were in the same age bracket as me, and we were just playing soccer on their front yard and stuff. And their dad came out and he saw that I was chasing his daughters around with a soccer ball, and he was like, "I'm gonna take you to a track meet." So, with no practice, no training, here I am, track uniform and everything. I don't even think I wore tennis shoes. Spikes. But I ran the 100, ran the 4x1, ran the 200, ran the 400, ran the 800 at 6 years old, and I dominated in San Angelo. Little did I know, I came home with blue ribbons and everything. This is a true story, but the problem is, lactic acid, there's a thing called lactic acid. And for a 6-year-old, God, that hurt, because you just started walking not even 5 years ago, and now you can't walk again. I had my mom carry me around the house for 2 weeks like a baby. But aside from that, something that I'm really good at, without formal practice or training, I don't know, it's kind of hard because I'm 27 years old and I've done everything that I want to be good at. I have to say drawing. Probably drawing characters. That's due to my autism spectrum disorder. A lot of us are visual learners, and you just see it, and bam, there it is. I have a lot of Facebook posts about my drawings. I never took an art class in high school, middle school. I just got bored one day, and I was like, I'm gonna see if I can draw this. Years later, I'm drawing pretty much any cartoon character that I want, and I save money on posters. So yeah, I guess drawing would be my revenue. Let's see here. What was the best gift I have ever received? Anytime you have money, that's always good. That's always good to have money. The best gift I've ever received from anybody. That's really tough, guys. I guess. So, there was this one Christmas, and it was out of the blue, and I was like 8 or 9 or whatever, and Hummers were a big thing back in that was 8, so put me in 2006, 2005, in that area, between 2005 and 2007, Hummers were a thing. A lot of people wanted Hummers. I might have gazed at it or glanced at it, but honestly, I wasn't really thinking about it. Then my mom went to Walmart. Well, I'm sure she went to Walmart because it was there. But she went to Walmart, got a Hummer that's like, you can literally put anything you want inside. It's like a remote control Hummer. And I got it for Christmas, and I was playing the death out of that thing. That Hummer was big. So I think remote control Hummer was probably my favorite gift, and it was black. So it's pretty neat to have. I think that was still a memory today. I guess the other thing is having Benjamin, because I was living in Fort Worth at the time, and my mom had a Build-A-Bear, and I wanted one, so I got Benjamin in 2005 on March 3rd, and he's been with me for 18 years. And I still have him. He's one of my prized possessions that no one's going to have, so sorry to my 2 nieces, but y'all will never touch Benjamin a day in y'all's life. So yeah. Moving on. Have I gone to the movie theater by myself? Did you like it? Actually, I did. I have actually. So, I'm just going to tell you right off the bat. So, I did go to the movie theaters by myself. It was like 8 or 9 years ago, and I didn't want to see the movie that my mom and my cousin Rhonda wanted to watch. So, instead, I went to see Alvin and the Chipmunks, the second movie. And it introduced the Chipettes. And I believe that's the last time I ever went to a movie by myself. Not just because I go to the movies, but it's the fact that I just don't go much. If it's not for my job, or if it's not with my mom, I just don't go to the movies. I can do it. Nowadays, you can just pop up Paramount, HBO Max, or Max or Netflix, whatever, and just watch it there. But yes, I have watched some movies by myself, and I guess I like the movie. How many people do you consider your true friends? I talk about this a lot. I have a lot of people that are friends, but if I talk to a daily basis, I would say Jake Brown, Devon Coleman, Marquise Lasson, Eric Garner, Yvonne Coleman, Aaliyah Swine, who's also my girlfriend. I'm missing quite a bit. But yeah, I consider those as my true friends because I can always go to them if I have problems, and we talk about it, and I talk to them pretty much on a daily basis. Also, Brianna, Michelle, talk to her quite a bit, and so yeah, I consider those as my true friends. Oh, Michael White, I need to talk to him more. But yeah, I think those people I talk on a daily basis that I still think that are my true friends to this day. Of course, my childhood best friends, Julian Cockrell. I grew up with him and stuff. So yeah, I got quite a bit list that I consider them as my true friends. That if I need them, they'll be there. So yeah. Moving along. My biggest pet peeve is answering your own questions. Like, here's an example. Like, say somebody asks me a question that they know the answer to. My question is, why do you even ask it in the first place? I don't know about y'all, but that happens a lot. I'm like, some people know the answer to what they're about to ask, and I hate it. That's just my pet peeve. Don't ask a question that you already know the answer to. It's wasting my time, and it's wasting your time unless you find it very amusing to ask me a question you know the answer to. And then what makes it even worse is I know you know the answer to your own question, but yet you still figure that you want to ask it anyways. And that's my pet peeve. Don't ask me questions that you already know the answer to. Who was your childhood crush and where they are now? Well, I'm not going to name no names, but I will say, my childhood crush, I had this person in my kindergarten class, in Miss Dovey's class. There was this one story where I was at the kitchen sink, and I remember the exact soap, and it was a watermelon soap, and it was so happens the one that my mom bought for the classroom. So, and I had a tooth loose, and I was struggling to get that tooth out. So she came along and say, "How about you twist it?" And I'm like, "All right." I twisted, bam, and that's when the minute I was like, I really like this girl. I was 6, she was 5. Where is this person at now? Graduated from ACU, still serve the kingdom at the church she goes to, and yeah, and still lives in the same realms as where I lived when we were kids. So yeah, so I'm not going to name no names, but that was my childhood crush. Moving on. Would you ever know the time Would you ever want to know the time and date of where you was going to die? Why one? I would not. I would not want to know the day that I die, because I'm a person that lives every day, one step at a time. Like, I do this very for real. I kid you not. Like, I don't worry about tomorrow. I don't worry about the next day. I don't worry about like what's happening 4 hours from now. All I worry about is where I'm at right now, and I always want to be surprised. I like surprises, but I don't want to know when I die. I do want to know what I'm doing in the present. And the present is me doing the video about questions about myself. So, there you have it. So, the next question, also say hi to Stella again, is how did you become a better friend? Okay, I'm gonna give you a soapbox. So, long story short, there was a period of time when I was growing up that I just couldn't make a friend to save my life. If I was in a Saw movie and Saw wanted me to make a friend or I die, I would probably die, because that's how bad I was at making friends back when I was a kid living in Luzon. Not only I was getting picked on at school, but I had my sister friends picking on me, and it was bad. It was so bad I almost got ran over by a bike by one of my sister's friends. Yeah, imagine that. Church was bullying me and all that stuff. So, what my mom did, and I think about it sad back then. I was like, I've stood at this level. So, but I look back at it and it was amazing. But my mom went to the public library downtown and checked out some books called How to Be a Better Friend, What Can I Do to Be a Better Person, all these little books. They were not big, they were like 30 pages each in these books. And we read them together. It was like mother and son bonding and stuff. And thank you, Stella. I really appreciate that. And I learned a lot from those books that I apply today. Is, I think one of the books that said, always be yourself. And if you can't be yourself around this particular person, then they ain't worth your time. I cried when I read that, but then I completely understand it later. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be myself whether you like it or not. So, yeah, I think those books that I've learned, I read with my mother, helped me become a better friend. And Stella, we're going to have to clip your nails because they're getting sharper and sharp. You understand me? They are getting very sharp. Alright, moving on. What song always makes you feel better? Well, the first song I ever listened to was, I'm gonna tell you my age. I was born in the 1996, and this song literally came out 2 years. I think 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years because it came out in '94. But it's the Backstreet Boys. I Want It That Way, and for whatever reason it became my trade. It wasn't a trademark, so I'm not even gonna say that, but it became a song that a lot of people like to sing around me. I just put it that way. And people like to say that that's my song, but it's not my song. I don't own the Backstreet Boys. I Want It That Way, but a lot of people sing it because I like the song. It's one of the first songs I ever heard, and it makes me happy because it reminds me of my baby days where I always smiled when they played that song. So, yeah. What were you like as a teenager? Well, was dealing with a lot of people wanting me to rap 24/7 because I'm C-Walkz. I was rapping so much that I walked outside and people had their phones ready to hear me rap. I used to rap on Freestyle Fridays. I used to rap in the cafeteria at Abilene High. I used to rap in the hallways. I used to do a lot of things. They had their phones ready. Also, as a teen, I spent more time traveling to different cities than I was at home. I spent most of my lifetime throughout my teenage years between the ages of 13 and 19, or 18 I should say, not even being in Abilene. But like one day I'm going to Lubbock, the next day I'm going to Odessa, the next day I'm going to Midland, the next day I'm going to San Angelo, the next day I'm going to Austin, the next day I'm going to Killeen, the next day I'm going to Houston, San Antonio, Dallas, Fort Worth, North Richland Hills, Haltom City, Garland, Tyler, Corsicana, Waco, Port Arthur, Baytown, Brownsville. Laredo. I rarely was in Abilene much in my teenage years. I traveled a lot, had to do homework while I was on the road. I did a lot of community service, cleaning up and all that stuff for this youth group called CYC. I was involved in my church during my teenage years more than I was now. But yeah, that's pretty much my childhood. School, on the road. School, on the road. Basketball, community work, band, track. And just because I had doctor's appointments in Fort Worth, so I went to Fort Worth a lot as well. So yeah, that's my childhood on the highway. Moving on. What is something that I wish I started doing earlier in my life? Driving. That's pretty much the only thing. A lot of people learn how to drive when they were 16 in high school. I didn't get my license until I was 26. And the reason why is because during my teenage years, I literally was, like I said in the previous question, I was up and down everywhere in Texas. Like, there was not really a big city in Texas I haven't went to. I think the only one that I haven't went to, if I'm being honest, is probably Nacogdoches, Texas, and Belmont. Yeah. Never went to those two cities. But aside from that, Fredericksburg, New Braunfels, Amarillo, Lubbock, Pecos, El Paso. I've been pretty much to every big city in Texas, doing either band, track, basketball, or community work, or just cause I have a doctor's appointment in those cities. It's one of those 5. Let's do a couple more. How many cookies can you eat in a single sitting? Well, it just depends on the cookies. Obviously, I don't like chocolate, so that minimizes my choices a lot. And what makes me more, I don't like peanut butter either. So, a lot of cookies, I guess you could say, has chocolate or peanut butter, and I don't like neither one of those. However, I do like macadamia cookies, and I do like snickerdoodle cookies. So, with snickerdoodles, I could probably eat a whole box. Macadamia, probably a half a box. So, and sugar cookies, probably 3 at best. Thank you, Stella, for the headbutts again. I'm trying to read the next question. Did I have a celebrity crush? Yes, I did. And I grew up. There was this one girl who was on Ant Farm, and then she was on My Babysitter's a Vampire, and then she was on Riverdale. I did have a crush on this. Her name was Vanessa Morgan. She's very short, from Canada. I think she has a baby now and all that stuff. But back then, when she was working on Disney Channel, yeah, I had a huge crush on her. Not even gonna lie. But she's 30-something. I'm 27, so who knows? What risk would you take if you knew you wouldn't fail? I probably will say heights. I've been on roller coasters before, but I don't like it. I know my chances are pretty good when it comes to being on rides because I don't die, but it's just the fact of heights and being 100+ feet in the air, and then you got to go real down with a lot of G-force, and then you turn in and all that stuff in the same speed. Oh God, I don't like it. I know I won't fail because with a lot of safety stuff for the rides, and I've actually rode on roller coasters that I didn't die, but the fact of me actually getting myself for a roller coaster not happening. It takes a lot of everything for me to get on that roller coaster. So, yeah. Last question for this. What are 3 words a friend would use to describe you? I think my loyalty. And I'm very loyal to my friends. I will go above and beyond for my friends. I would personally walk from one place to another just for my friends. My dedication. I'm devoted to my friends. I'm always going to be on their side. I'm always going to be there. I don't care how silly it is. I don't care how it is. If they're going to call me at 2-something in the morning, I'm going to be there. If they're going to call me while I'm at work, I'm going to call them. I'm just that dedicated for my friends. And last but not least, very energetic. And I'm very energetic. I'm very, very energized when I see my friends. I get hyped every time I see them and stuff. And I think just my energy, my presence, as you can say, my aroma is great for my friends. So I'm not gonna, like I said, I'm not going to ask myself all 154 questions by myself, but I did answer some. And as I was saying some of my questions that I was asking myself, it's pretty nice to every now and then evaluate yourself, ask questions about yourself, and I don't know, it feels good. Despite it being 12-something in the morning, but it felt great. So, like I said, my name is Chris C-Walkz Walker. Hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you think. In the comments, like it, whatever. Deuces. Stay fresh.